You had 3 touchdowns today, spread the ball all over the place. How are you feeling now, senior year in the offense?
Well, I didn't have great scrimmages earlier this spring. I've never played well in scrimmages, period, for whatever reason. So it was good to get out here in a game-type setting and play well. But I got to credit our teammates, our play calling. There's a whole lot of factors that go into having a good day, and there's a whole lot of factors that go into having a bad day. But it was a lot of fun, and that's really the most important thing, is to go out there and to enjoy it and to have fun playing the game of football, and that's what you want to accomplish in the spring game, and I think we did that today.
Kirk, a guy like Chris D. Rucker seems like he's Mr. Spring every year. What do you have to do to get that to translate to the fall?
I think it's a confidence thing. Chris was a 100-meter champ in high school, and he's got as much speed as anybody on this football team. His hands at times have been suspect. I know you've seen that 4 years ago against Wisconsin. That's really a concentration thing, because Chris has the hands. He can make the catches. It's just a concentration thing. And if we can get him with confidence going out there and playing confidently, which he did today, the hands won't be an issue, and he'll be just as good as anybody else we can put out there. So it was great to see him have a great day. It wasn't a fluke by any means. I mean, while he has played well in the spring and you haven't seen him as much in the fall, I don't think that says anything about him. He's worked his tail off now for 5 years, and I expect him to be a contributor come this fall, although we do have a loaded receiving corps.
Kirk, talk about the guy taking snaps for the white team. Maxwell, how has he looked this spring? Tell me your assessment on how he played today.
Well, Maxwell's been a guy who I thought mentally was ahead of the curve coming out of high school. And in our offense, it's more a mental and physical thing. You have to really know what you're doing and get us in the right play and make the right reads and constantly be very sharp mentally. And that's Andrew's strength. He was far ahead of where I was as a freshman, and he's just continued that development. And going into his redshirt sophomore season, he's ready to go. He's ready to play if need be. Did a good job leading his team today, and I expect great things from him coming in the future.
Kirk, last year after the spring game, you mentioned chemistry on this team, why you felt so encouraged. How is the chemistry right now compared to where it was a year ago?
I think we're at a good point. I think we're at a good place. We have a tremendous amount of depth. We have guys who can play from the 1s to the 2s to the 3s. I think it shows in a spring game like this where everybody's playing. And I'm excited about the guys we got. We got great people, and I think it goes back to Coach D'Antonio and our coaching staff recruiting good people, because a lot of times you have a choice between a kid who's a tremendous athlete, but you have questions about who he is as a person, or you have a guy maybe as a person is a guy you want to have around, whereas athletically maybe he's the same as the other guy. And our coaches, I know for a fact, are taking the guy who's the right person for this program, and it's starting to show in the way we're operating in the locker room, in the classroom, and on the football field. Nice beard, by the way. I like it.
What did you think of the offensive line today?
Well, the offensive line, when you go 2 ways and you have a lot of injuries like Joel Foreman and Nate Klatt, you're pretty thin, and you're going down to the last guys in the offense. And they did a tremendous job. I mean, we had first-year freshmen, non-scholarship guys who were playing the entire game today and did a tremendous job. So it was fun to get them out there, and when they play like that, I think it gives them confidence going forward, and that's great for them and for our team.
Kurt, is Tony Lippett a better receiver or cornerback, and how do you see him contributing in the fall?
Great question. I think the best person to answer that is Coach D'Antonio, because he can assess both sides of the ball better than me. We have so many receivers, and I think there's a high value for a guy who's a shutdown corner. So if he can be that for us, I think he's more valuable as a cornerback. Doesn't mean he's not as good of a receiver. So it may come down more to value than maybe where he is best at. But he showed it today. He's got great hands. He's smooth, deceptively fast for his size, and another guy who is a tremendous person, a tremendous competitor, and they've done a great job recruiting a guy like a Tony Lippett.
Kirk, you guys had a great season last year, obviously showing up in a big-time bowl game, not the result that you wanted, but how has that season carried over through these spring practices?
Yeah, after watching the first round of the draft, you can see how good Alabama is. I think they had 4 guys go in the first round, and probably could have a couple more if guys left early. So we definitely played a good football team that day, and it was a tough loss, but it did help us, made us that much more hungry going forward in the off season, because it's tough when you have success. You start to rest on your success. It's just human nature to do that, and I think a game like Alabama really caused us to realize we're not among the nation's elite yet, and we have a lot of work to do that. So it really made us hungry. But at the same time, the success we had prior to the bowl game, winning 11 games and having an 11-1 regular season record, I think what that did was give us a sense of excitement and a great feeling going forward and making us motivated to keep working because of the good things that can come.
We have time for one more for Kirk. Go ahead, Rico.
one of the things you talked about you wanted to work on was your center exchange in the snaps. How'd that go for you? How was the field today with that whole thing?
Well, we were rotating by quarter on the green team with Blake Treadwell and Ethan Rulin, and both of them did a phenomenal job. They rotated right guard and center as quarters, but we had to keep getting snaps on the sideline to make sure as we switched that was being clean. But they did a great job. I know Travis Jackson is doing a great job as well. For a freshman, he's playing at a very, very high level, and Blake Treadwell's only played now 15 practices at center here at Michigan State, and for 15 practices, and he's doing a very good job. So I do like where we're at, although we're young at the offensive line and inexperienced with guys like Dan France and Zach Huger who just haven't played a whole lot of football for us because of injuries or a position switch. I really like the attitude we have, the work ethic we have, and we're going to need those guys on their own accord individually this summer to get a lot of work in and to push themselves so that come August and when we open training camp, they're ready to go.